Do your high notes sound like this? There's a right and a wrong way to belt your high notes. I'll show you the right way to hit higher notes with your belt voice today.
Ooh, let's go.
Belting is when you hit high notes with incredible power and resonance. Now, many voice teachers talk about belting as a form of kind of like yelling or screaming on a pitch, but that's not the whole picture, because belting is incredibly easy to totally screw up your voice if you do it wrong. Today, I'll show you my foolproof method to start belting without destroying your voice. There are three main kinds of belting. You can belt with chest voice, like Dan Reynolds of Imagine Dragons, Tom Walker, or Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters.
I've got another confession to make.
I mean, do you hear how they're basically just yelling up to the pitch? I mean, it's pretty insane, and it sounds awesome. You can also create a belt sound by singing in falsetto and adding a little bit of distortion or twang to the sound. That makes it sound like belting, even though there's not really a whole lot of chest voice in it. Some examples of this kind of like twangy head voice belt are Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin, and Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Can you hear how they're basically just singing that kind of bratty, almost kind of raspy sound on their higher notes? Finally, the absolute best way that you can learn to belt is with mixed voice. If you've been following my channel at all, you'll know that I'm constantly preaching how important it is for singers to learn to sing with their mixed voice. Mixed voice is the blend between the bottom part of the voice, the chest voice, and the top part of the voice, the head voice. But mixed voice can be really tough to find your belt in at first. If you're only singing in chest voice up to your high notes, you're gonna go flat and strain.
Or if you're just singing in head voice, it's gonna sound really, really light and breathy up there.
But if you mix the bottom and the top parts of your voice together, you'll learn that you can hit way higher notes without straining your voice. For mixed voice belters, check out Ed Sheeran,
Take me into your loving arms.
Bruno Mars,
Was wrong.
and Beyonce.
I would grab you by the hand.
For example, if I'm trying to hit the high notes in the song Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran, I have some options. I can sing that A4 note with just chest voice,
Take me into your loving arms.
which will make me go flat. Or I can sing it in just head voice, and it's gonna sound really, really breathy and light.
Take me into your loving arms.
And of course, that's gonna sound really breathy and light and hollow. Or I can sing it with mixed voice,
Take me into your loving arms.
but we're not totally finished here. It sounds too pretty, right? And we want those high notes to sound really, really belty and exciting, right? We need our belting trick to get there. I call this the burrito technique. Just like making a burrito, we're gonna start layering parts of our voice together to create a really exciting, full, belty, amazing sound. So just like with a burrito where you would like lay out a tortilla first, in the case of learning how to belt, we're actually gonna start off by just singing a thin layer of falsetto. Now there's some actual truth to this in that with falsetto, the vocal cords are just vibrating a lot more thinly, without getting the full contraction that you usually get with belt voice. But of course, when most singers try to go up and sing that high note, at first, they're just gonna strain and yell and go flat. So instead, I actually want you to sing that note in falsetto first.
Take me into your loving arms.
That will give you a foundation that you can build on. Once you've found it in falsetto, the first layer of the burrito is complete. You've got your tortilla, but now we basically just have an empty tortilla. We gotta throw some good stuff in there, you know? We gotta throw some meats and some veggies and some delicious things. In this case, we're gonna take that falsetto, which is basically just pure head voice, and start to blend it with the chest voice to create that mixed voice. So start by singing that high note in falsetto first. Then go up to that same note using different vocal exercises like the gee, like the na, like the mum. When you go there with one of those exercises, that you'll notice that your voice just blends a lot more easily between that falsetto and creating that mixed voice. So once you have that note in your mixed voice, the stuffing of your burrito is complete. But where I live, the most delicious burritos always have some delicious salsa or some sauce on top of it. That's the belt voice. In other words, you've created a nice foundation for your burrito with that thin layer of falsetto, and then you've started to add some meat and some veggies and some stuffing to it by singing that in your mixed voice. Now it's finally time to belt. But notice that we didn't just add the salsa first. We had to create that foundation and then even blend in with some of the mixed voice in order to get to this step. One of the easiest ways to do that is by really focusing on that A vowel in the word take. Front vowels like A and A will always have a little bit more cut to them than some of the back vowels like oo and O. So let's use that to your advantage and really, really lean into that A vowel. That's your salsa. But remember, don't put your salsa on an empty burrito. In other words, don't try to belt until you have that crucial mixed voice, or else you'll just go flat and strain.
Take me into your loving arms. Take me into your loving arms. Take me into your loving arms.
Learning to belt takes time and patience to get exactly right. You can master your belt with these daily vocal exercises.